9.7 FM, and so glad to know that you're listening to Personality Profile here on your superstation. I'm Lexus Bill, and it's so refreshing to start the year and know that you're here. And of course, we're going to have a really good year. It's a season of new beginnings. And let me first say thank you to our discerning audience who stayed with us through all the amazing interviews that we had on this show all throughout 2024. Indeed, this year we promise to bring you more explosive and revealing conversations right here on Personality Profile. To our numerous guests as well who were happy to come on our show and open up and share their story while also sharing lessons along life's journey. We're grateful. And this year, we're open to hearing more inspiring stories of people doing amazing things here in Ghana. So if there's a personality that you would actually want to recommend for an interview, kindly feel free to reach out to me on Instagram, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, or probably send me an email, lexus@lexusbill.com, and let's see whether we can get them on the show today, because this year we have lined up some really amazing conversations for you. So make sure every Thursday evening you're here on Joy FM for Personality Profile. Today, we get to actually learn about the journey of one of my favorite people, honestly, in this country. He's a man who has lived many parts and it's still unfolding. In the past couple of days, I've seen different sides of him. You have no idea. I mean, sides that I've really not seen ever before. I mean, the picture I have of him now, an astute politician. That's if you actually saw him well suited up, walking down the street of Parliament House, and also have this picture of him as a very wonderful husband and a family man. That if you also saw him hooked to his wife, holding her handbag or her purse. I'm like, hey, bro, we mean it's a gentle sound, and then the wife, I saw the bag, I'm like, wow. Gently guiding her down the path as if they were walking down the aisle to renew their nuptials. But it was so beautiful to see. But in many cases, though, he's at the center of one controversy or another. But I tell you what, the picture of a young man performing Miss Rumpo Namiki K, Ajigon and things like that, I mean, it's still etched in my mind because, over 20 years ago, 25 years ago, when he released those songs, he was actually the talk of town. Leveraging his musical platform, my guest has transitioned into active politics, maintaining his role as a social commentator and activist. And last year, in the general elections, he contested as an independent candidate and was elected as the Member of Parliament for the Gomua Central constituency, defeating the incumbent MP Nana Eya Kwanzaa. He's known for his outspoken nature and continues to be an influential figure in both entertainment and the political landscapes here in Ghana. A Ghanaian hip-hop musician, political activist, politician, member of parliament for Gomua Central constituency, and a member of the Delish Parliament. This is my guest. This song is so relevant right now. You know what I'm saying? When it started playing, I could tell it's so relevant. Yeah, 12 years, Sasa. Anyway, Kwame Asare Obeng, Honorable Kwame Asare Obeng. You know him as A+. My guest here, Honorable.
Like this.
So good to see you. How are you?
Good.
Nice.
Happy New Year.
How did you? Happy New Year, brother. How did you feel when you heard that song? Nostalgic, huh?
Yeah. That's one of Okraku-Mantey's productions. Actually.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So one day Okraku-Mantey called me and said, I have a beat at Apietu Studios and I want you to come and put some lines on it. And it was just 2 days to the election.
So I went 2 days to the election?
Yes, that was in 2004. So I went to the studio, wrote the song in the studio and recorded it.
Wow.
Yep.
Did he have in mind this kind of music, like a political.
Yeah. He always said that he wanted to do one political song with me.
Okay.
And so everything, the production, everything was done by him. I appear to produced it, but we're in the studio. Okraku said, no, play this like this. No, change this one. I want this one to sound like this. Okraku did everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mark Okraku-Mantey.
Yeah.
Former deputy minister.
Yeah.
For the creative arts and tourism.
Yeah. He did everything. He actually was the executive producer.
And this is 21 years ago.
Yeah, 2004.
Yeah, so that's circa 20 years ago,
Yes.
21 years ago.
2004.
A+, take us back to that 2004. Did you ever think that some 20 years later, you, Mark Okraku-Mantey, will be in these positions that you're in? Did it ever occur to you?
I didn't know about Mark Okraku-Mantey. I knew about myself.
Okay.
Yes. The very day I jumped into a trot to Accra, I knew I was coming here. You know, I was coming. I came here for real reason. Yeah, and I'm not done yet.
Wow. This is interesting. Look, let me congratulate you one more time because,
Thank you.
I mean, of all the things that you've achieved, yours, and especially in this election, well, apart from the obvious result of, you know, the general elections, if we're drilling down to very individual, you know, results and all, yours is one of the very heavy ones, seeing as you are an independent candidate to get into a constituency where there's NPP in power, there's NDC as well, who had their seat before, and you brush all of them aside. How do you feel about it?
I feel good. And I want to say a very big thank you to my team, my campaign manager, and everybody who was involved in this campaign. They did a very good job. We are ambitious young people. We are the kind of team, we call ourselves the busy team.
Yeah.
And we are the kind of team that went into the constituency, looked over a forest and said we'll put a road through it, and we did. Wow. And we didn't even know how we were going to do it. We didn't have the equipment. We just called our friend, who is a road engineer.
Yeah.
Is that how?
Contractor?
No, he's an engineer.
He's an engineer. Okay.
Yes,
civil engineer.
Yes, civil engineer or something. So we called him, and then he came and told that we can do this like this. We do this, and then together with the village folks, the local. We put a so we are ambitious.
Yeah.
We are the real people who can really take the sea to Kumasi, and if we say we'll do it. Yeah.
What did Nana Kwame Bedia could do to you?
No, I think it is something that can be done. But I'm saying if he joins with the busy team, we can actually take the sea to Kumasi.
You're busy.
Yeah, you're busy.
But tell me, I mean, in these past couple of days, has life changed for you?
No, nothing has changed. I have a lot of people who say, oh, now that you are a member of parliament, you have to reduce the interviews. You don't have to be on Facebook. You don't have to do it. I say to them, those who voted for me know who I am. They like who I am. They like me so much. Yesterday, I wrote on Facebook that I think Northerners like me. And I really believe that they do. People are around the country. Everybody.
Why Northerners specifically?
I think, I don't know, but for some reason, I meet Northerners, and I've traveled the North a lot. You know, sometimes I travel all the way to Techiman. I drive to Wenchi, to Bole, to Bamboy, to Sola. I go all the way to Wa. I drive from Wa to Tumu, come down to Chuchuliga. I know Wiaga, I know Wesi, I know Fumbisi, I know all the way to Mankaragu. I know everywhere, like especially Upper East.
Yeah.
The paramount chief in Brusa, Azantilo, is my very good. Like, I know the North. Yeah. And I live with them. I have a tent. So I build a tent in the village. Yeah, like I go to Tinsungu. I have a small tent. I put it up in the village. We crack groundnut together with the village. It's a beautiful experience.
Wow.
Yeah, I know Lukula, being with the folks in Lukula.
Yeah.
And I think that Northerners naturally like me.
I see.
Yes. And
what could it be?
It's because of who I am. So, you know, people expect me to change. Now you're a member of parliament, you have to change. I'm not in to deceive anybody. This is who I am. I am happy with who I am. And I think that I can't have everybody in Ghana to like who I am or how I do my things. But majority of the people like me. Yesterday, my kid brother said something very interesting. He was like, can you imagine 20,000 people didn't vote for us? Because NDC had like 10,000.
Yeah.
Also votes in the constituency. NPP had 11,000. So we put it together. My brother was like, about 20,000 human beings didn't vote for us. So you won't get all the people supporting you, but we had about 14,000, and we are excited.
You're excited
about that because Gumwa Central is a constituency where you have NDC very strong, NPP very strong, and we had to get the vote. And I'm not changing who I am. I'm content with the people who like me for who I am and how I do my things. I'm not leaving social media. When I've read the 33 Strategies of War by Robert Greene, and there's a line that I like. It's that when people start complaining about moral issues, you have an advantage over them they don't want you to use. And so we are going to ensure that this time it is going to be refined. It is not going to be the same, because when you get into certain positions, you have to do things in a certain way, but it doesn't mean leaving who you are entirely to all of a sudden.
The DNA remains the same.
It's the same, but it's just that now, okay, for instance, Dr. Kofi Amwa calls me. Dr. Kofi Amwa calls me after the election, and this is somebody that I have admired for a very long time. There's somebody that I like, somebody that I would always want to meet. And then he says, "Oh, I like you. I'm so excited." I said, I like you too. You like me. So when you start getting into such areas, even though they like some of the things they like everything that you do, they might not like how you present it and all. So it's going to be the same, but just that the presentation might change. Yes.
Well, that's good for starters. I mean, I'm sure a lot of those who didn't like the way you present it will be happy to hear.
For instance, you can say those days you can say we Jimmy, but now you can say Adio and Nyanseni.
And you're still saying the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same.
Oh, Kwame, interesting. But anyway, no, I'm happy to hear that. Yesterday was your first day in Parliament.
Yesterday was my second day.
Was your second day, actually. And I think there was a picture that I saw making rounds where you were sitting in the back somewhere. I don't know whether you were sleeping or you were just tired of what was going on. I think some people thought that you were even sleepy because
that's what human beings.
You look like a fresher. I'm a fresh now. Why you comb busy?
Yeah, that's what human beings do at 2 a.m. They sleep.
Yes.
I am this kind of person who likes to present things the way it is. This is not the first time. You see, when I'm on UTV, United Showbiz, most of the time you see me wearing dark glasses. It's because at a point I will nod more. That's what human beings do after 1 a.m.
That's right. But how was the experience in Parliament? I mean, getting in there for the first time and seeing your honourable members and all. Tell me, how was the experience?
It was like my first day in Gempa. Public school. It took me a long time to enter. I tried, and I made friends with everybody I met before I went to class. I was just shaking hands with everybody because I was finding it difficult to enter the class. The class was full and I was late. So I mean, hey, how are you? And I started a conversation because I just didn't know how to enter. So it was like my first day. And when I went to Gempa, I had some MPs who are my friends, and they all knew that I liked the back.
Okay.
Yeah, we will be at the back.
The
just
back
like secondary school. That's where we can be. That's where all the cat calls come from, So I will be at the back. So in Parliament, I went straight to the back. Everything was new. And I've learned a lot. Every day you learn. You don't change your stance entirely, but you come to understand things differently.
What's the first thing that struck you?
That it's a huge tax, and we have to appreciate those who have been there, especially those who have been there for years. It is not an easy tax at all. Today, for instance, I was with the president in my constituency. The Ahmadiyya Muslim had their convention, annual convention, and it's in my constituency. That's where they have it in Gomo-Omaze.
Okay.
And I had to be at the convention, and I had to be in Parliament at the same time.
Wow.
And then I remember that last year, before I entered Parliament, I was complaining about MPs and why MPs wanted sirens. And I called my friend and said, "Are you?" He's a dispatch rider. I said, "Where are you?" He said, "I'm at my place." I said, "Please, I need you to take me out of this traffic and get me to the constituency now and bring me back to Parliament."
Wow.
So I came to understand why. And can you imagine somebody whose constituency is somewhere in, say, Paga, and you have to go there with the president and then come back to Parliament? I think that I am in a position to explain what happens and what parliamentarians go through very well to the public.
Okay.
Yesterday, when Parliament at 9 a.m. and we left at 9 p.m., I didn't understand. And we are all working for government, and I start at 9 and close at 9. They said that was the shortest time that we close. Sometimes we can close at 2 p.m. after the budget reading and all that. And I asked them that if it's for the same salary they are giving, or when we keep long, they will add some. And you look at those who have traveled from far away places to come to Parliament, and I pity them.
I see. What didn't you like about it, about your experience there, apart from the long hours that you just mentioned?
I think that for now, what I have observed, I think that it's a great place.
Okay.
I will definitely find out some. Okay, please tell ECG to keep our lights on. Yesterday the lights.
You put up the light in Parliament.
I don't know what happened, but yesterday parts of our lights were off. They have to ensure that they are keeping the lights on because there's just too much work to be done.
I mean, they say the fuel engines.
The second thing was when we were going for the inauguration. They didn't take good care of parliamentarians. We had spent the whole night in Parliament.
Yeah,
it was a long night, and then we had to come back early morning to get to the Independence Square, and parliamentarians had to walk from the Osu Cemetery area all the way, and then walk back because the arrangements didn't go as. And I think that. If you enter the house and you look at the kind of work that people do, you leave Parliament at 2 a.m., some left there at 3 a.m., go home and have to come back, and then they can't have the buses to get them in because I think there were some issues with the arrangements. And, these were the basic, but generally with the work of Parliament and the leadership and the Speaker himself, very experienced man. Great, and I'm happy to be in the same room with Speaker Babin. I'm going to learn a lot. He's an amazing person.
How does he feel?
And I like the humor.
Oh well, he's got a great sense of humor.
Yes.
He's got a great sense of humor. I think he's probably one of the best.
He has a nice way to tease people.
Yes,
very nice.
Yes. So. I don't know how it feels for you in Parliament, and I'm talking in a parliamentary setting, as an independent candidate, right? Of course, before we even talk about the whole caucus, size and whatnot, have you explored what the pros and the cons are as just an independent candidate in Parliament?
Okay, I am an optimistic person. I always look out for the opportunities in difficult situations, and so I don't look too much at the negatives or the cons. I believe that as an independent candidate, I can make an impact. There are so many committees in Parliament that are not popular because I think that it depends on the members of the committee. Okay. Every committee is there to serve Ghana. So as an independent candidate, whatever role I am put to serve Ghana, I'm ready to work to serve Ghana. And at the same time, the only reason why we have to align is because we are not up to serving. The standing order states that to be able to form a caucus in Parliament, you have to have not less than 7 members. We had 4 independent members. And so if in the next election there are another 3 candidates that win as independent, then there can be the third force. There's so many people who are looking for a third force on the street, which you won't find. The third force can be found in Parliament when you are coming.
Well, that's fair.
As an independent candidate, I believe that there's so much I can do. We have to align, and I am looking for development for my constituency. So I have decided to align with the majority, where I've been promised that whatever is going out, according to His Excellency the President, he is going to ensure that every part of this country, whether it is an NDC or NPP candidate, they're going to be everybody's going to get an equal share of the national cake.
Okay, but there was so much controversy around your decision prior to you making that decision, because I think that there was news that the NPP were trying to court you to join them. They came out to deny it, and you actually had a rebuttal coming out to say that no, this is not true, and that you had a conversation with Honorable Kenneth Japon, who led the conversation about getting you to join the NPP caucus.
the conversation began on the 19th of December when I was with Chris Vincent in the constituency, and then honorable score came, and then I went I met him in East Legon. We had a conversation. And Honorable was looking at getting all the independent candidates to support his party, and of course that is natural.
Yeah.
Any strong member or anybody who loves their party will want to have all the 4 candidates supporting the NPP. There were some proposals that were made, and an offer was put on the table. In fact, at the meeting, it was discussed that he was going to meet with some other members of the party to tell them what the outcome of that meeting was. We had to meet again on the 24th. I couldn't make it on the 25th. I couldn't make it on the 26th. I couldn't make it on the 27th. I couldn't make it on the 29th. All these days I could not make it because I was having my event on the 29th. And so on the 3rd, we met.
It wasn't
again.
because you were avoiding them?
Because I was avoiding.
You were avoiding them?
Yes, because I was avoiding.
Why?
The only reason why I attended that meeting was because of Honorable Ken. Honorable Ken is a good guy. You may have your own issues with him, but he's a great guy. And Honorable Ken is the person who will be there for you in times of need. There was a time that the NPP, some members of the NPP had a plan to jail me. So the morning before I went to court, I was prepared. I told my kids that it's possible that I'll go to jail today. Chairman Wuntumi was part of that plan to put us in jail.
It was part of the plan.
Yes, it was part of the plan to jail. Yes, and so we were going to court that morning, and then at the morning before we went, Honorable Ken called me and said, "I'm leaving America. I'm coming to Ghana tomorrow morning. I have to be in Ghana because I don't understand what is going on." And he actually stopped everything and flew back into Ghana. And so if Honorable Ken calls me at any time, I have to be there. I have to listen to him. Even though I wrote on Facebook that my heart is with Caucus, aligning with the NDC, I had to listen to Honorable Ken. Honorable Ken is a great guy. He will be there for you. He's the friend's friend. He's the uncle's uncle. He's the brother's brother. He will be there.
So how has this strained the relationship between you and him now?
Honorable Ken will come along. Don't worry.
But now it's a strained the relationship.
A bit. But
he's disappointed.
Yes. And that is how life is supposed to be.
Is he disappointed because you didn't join the NPP caucus, or he's disappointed because you also let out the discussions that you had prior to your decision?
Yes, he's disappointed because I let out parts of the conversation, which I am very happy that I did. As somebody who can get up and go into a constituency, wrestle a seat from both NDC and NPP, Honorable Ken must also understand that I'm a very matured guy. I'm not the same Kwame Plus that he knows as one of his small boys. I'm still his small boy, but I am very matured. I know what I'm about. I had to let out that part of the conversation. All the proposals that were put out there were so many. That offer was juicy. It came with a lot. However, I deliberately put out one line that they will not contest in the 2028 election. Because it was a day to swearing in. Nothing had been put on paper. I didn't know whether he was working with the party, if it was his own decision. Yeah. I wanted to ensure that the party, he and his party had agreed on everything every communication that he was sending out to me.
Okay.
And so at 12 midnight, if you check the post, I did that post after 12 midnight. And I stated that I wanted the public to know that NPP is saying that if I align with them, they will not contest in 2028. And then the next morning, they came and said, we have not sent Honorable Ken anywhere.
Okay.
And so I was very happy that I put that out there. So if I had not done that and I went to align with them, in 2028, they will come and say, we didn't have any arrangement with you. And I deliberately, that was a smart one. I'm very happy that I did that.
You sound proud of yourself.
Yes.
But, I'm wondering where it all went sour, because you literally, I don't know whether it would be a fitting phrase to say you were in bed with the NPP.
Yes.
Many years ago.
Yes.
You were literally a part of it.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it all went sour when your alleged contract with Bost was terminated.
Yes.
Is that where it started from?
That is not where it started from, but the kind of person I am, even if that is where it started from, it was a very good one. We cannot campaign and come to power and then you decide to victimize people just because they are not happy with somebody's style of government, some happenings in government. So if that is why it went sour, it is very right. I'm a Ghanaian, and the constitution states that I am entitled to a decent job. So if I'm working and then there's something happening in government and I'm not happy with it, and I criticize it, and because of that you want to render me unemployed, or you want to take my livelihood, I have every right to be angry. I won't come here and say, oh no, it's not like that. No. I have to be very straightforward, and it has to be very straightforward and simple. That is not the main reason, but even if that was the reason, I'm very happy. I will be very happy that I did, and I think that the NPP didn't appreciate, and even up until a day to inauguration, look at the number of seats that you have lost. And then somebody steps up to speak with the independent candidates and try to get them on your side. And you have a party general secretary like Kodua who comes out and say, we have not sent you anywhere. That is how arrogant he is. And that's why he has lost all the seats that he lost. He's not a good general secretary. I'll be very happy if the NPP votes him out and brings somebody who can do the job.
Interesting. Well, if you're just joining in, Kwame Asari-Obeng A+ is my guest here on Personality Profile. I just got a message from Abusa Jackson in Cape Coast who says, good evening, Lexus. I like A+ because he's honest. And I think this evening to a fault, because he's letting it all out. You know what I mean? But let's talk about your constituency. I mean, Honorable Rahel Apo of the NDC had it in 2012. She lost it to the NPP, and that's when Nana Iya of the NPP took the seat in 2016. And you managed to, I mean, it looked like that place was shuffling between the two parties.
It has always. Nana Iya is the first person to have it for 2 terms.
For 2 terms.
Yeah. NDC and NPP are both strong in the constituency.
And then A+ happens.
Yeah.
What did you do?
So what we did was that when I went into the constituency, I realized that NDC and NPP had a base. And if we had to go into an election without campaigning, NDC and NPP had polling station executives already in the constituency. So I had to set up a base. I needed a polling station executives in every polling station. And so we went to Gempa. We have studied research methods.
That's right.
And so we even though we're doing a street campaign, we are also being scientific.
Okay.
Even 3 weeks to the election, I was conducting my last research, and that is how I won Obuasi, which MPP has never won since 1992. There are some areas in the constituency that MPP has never won since 1992. I won 5 out of 6 polling stations in Obuasi. I won 5 polling stations in German, a strong NDC stronghold. I won all the 3 polling stations in the Sikuma. And then I ensured that I closed the gaps in the MPP stronghold. It holds Ekwam Kromis and MPP stronghold. I made sure that I closed the gap. NDC has never won in Gumwa Benso. I won in Benso, and that's a strong MPP stronghold. An MPP stronghold. So what I did was to ensure that I have a base, and I had 10 polling stations executives in every polling station. 10 in every polling station, and there are 123 polling stations. I had 10 in each. I managed them for 2 years, and I formed busy teams. These are called busy teams, and the job of the busy teams was to ensure that they are bringing other people on board. Our research showed us that we are going to lose in Abia, Aboso Benso, Ekropon, Ekrofo. We are going to lose in Abia, and so I had to get a different team. Luis and his team, Bogadawa and all the boys, get them on board to come and take over the place. My research showed me that there is somebody in Afranse. So when we come to the town, we're looking for influential people, and we have guys who are doing the research. My research team is led by Obed San. He's from Gumua Potin. Okay. Obed is a great guy. Great guy. Like you'll be in a convoy going to campaign somewhere, and Obed calls and said, "Stop right there. Turn around. No, we can't go to this town. Turn around.
Wow.
Turn around. We have to go here. We are losing the election. We have to go here." Yes. So we did our research in a town like Afranse. We realized that in Afranse, if we get somebody like 225 will control all the boys. We needed chemicals. There's somebody in Afranse called chemicals. We needed Atoll, tea bread.
Those are their names.
Yeah. We needed pages.
Interesting.
We needed Aboba. These are So we were very well on the ground. When I tell people that me one day I'll win an election in Ghana, I'll win a presidential election in Ghana, they think it's a joke. But everybody must know that when I came here, I was sleeping in a kiosk in Dakuma Junction. Today I'm a member of parliament. I planted the Abrofon-Kate at Kaneshi First Light. I used to wash cars there. I know exactly where I'm going.
A man on a mission. Since you talked about research from GIMPA, I just thought that it's fitting to shout out to some of the research methods lecturers.
Dr. Tano.
We all went to GIMPA and studied research methods. So
I met Dr. Tano one day on campus. I said, Doc.
Yeah.
That times you gave me C. So you had C. I didn't give you C.
So let me say good evening to Dr. Augustina Akono as well, Dr. Tina.
Yeah, Dr. Tina.
She's also an amazing lecturer, and she helped us with the research methods.
Dr. Gina Teddy, Dr. Foriwa, Dr. Piamafu, Gempa. We mentioned our lecturers.
Dr. Jisa.
Dr. Jisa.
I need to say Dr. Jisa as well.
Yeah.
I mean, lots of Dr. Daku, Professor Daku.
Please stop mentioning so that because there are many.
I know there are lots, But A+, look, I've interviewed so many members of parliament, and when the conversation about the cost of election comes up, most of the time they'll tell you about how they need to facilitate delegates. So when I notice you're running as an independent candidate, so I'm thinking, then the cost of facilitating delegates will be out, so it might not be as expensive as maybe it will be for any other of the parliamentarians who are with the political party. But then you started mentioning that, you needed 10 polling executives, and you need to facilitate them for 2 years and whatnot. Really? Tell me, what are the cost centers?
Yeah, it's running an election in Ghana is very expensive. But when you have people who understand what you are doing, and the people of Gomoa Central have shown clearly that they are looking for something different. And so I had a team that really worked for me, a team that was ready to support. We saw ourselves as a family. So we were able to put our money into projects. So we did a lot of projects because the people that we were working with were not people who were money people. And so if we had to facilitate delegates to get whatever, we could put that into building water for a community, rehabilitating broken down water sources for the community and all. We were also able to put our money into IT. I had an app, a coalition app. That's why I announced that I had won early.
Yes.
My research showed that we don't. The incumbent didn't have to beat us more if we were able to cut her vote to less than 1,000 in Ekwam-Krom, Manso, and Jukwa. She had lost the election.
I see.
And then she beat us with only 300 votes. So when I wrote that I've won the election. We had counted Ekwam-Krom, Manso, and Jukwa, and she had won with only 300 votes. And I knew the election was over.
Wow.
And we had we spent a lot of money in developing an app. We had phones for all our agents across the constituency. We had a collation center, and immediately the votes were counted. It was entered into the app. A picture of the pink sheet was taken, and we received it in the collation center in our office in Asebu. So in about 45 to an hour after the close of polls, we had all our results up there. We were just waiting for EC. So whilst people were fighting over votes, I was on top of a car jubilating. I knew exactly. I had all my pink sheet. I had everything.
I see.
Yeah.
Means that's a heavy investment.
And I slept.
And you slept?
Look,
we stayed awake.
I was on a show. I was on UTV a week to the election, and I said, if I didn't know I was going to win the election, you think I would be here a week to election on United Showbiz?
Yeah.
And I told them that I would sleep, and they'll wake me up and say you have won. And of course, around 10 p.m. I went to EC. I was there for a few minutes. I left there. I went and slept. And around 5 a.m., the police and the military came and woke me up that I had to come for a declaration. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How much did it cost you?
My team is still putting some report together. We have some idea. The team is still putting a report together.
So circa how much?
To win an election in Ghana, I think that you need our app, to develop an app, to do, it costs us a lot because of all the projects that we undertook.
Yes, so
like building roads,
building
a new road for between Gomoa Dahom and Gomoa German. So it should cost us to build a road, to build water across. It should cost us about it should cost us something in about 2 million cities.
2 million
Yes,
cities.
but we are happy. It's not money that we spent on giving people money, but in developing our communities.
Okay.
Yes, so you go there and then you can see, not long, just after the election, we had issues with our water supply. I think some of the pumps in Konyakon were shut down, and so the people didn't have water. But because we had built or rehabilitated most of the wells and all the pumps were working in Gomua or Boase, for instance, and they had water. So our campaign was not about spending money on people going to buy votes, but it was on developmental projects.
You see, your rise through politics wouldn't come as a surprise to a lot of people, considering the fact that, I mean, when you broke out even as a musician, you were not doing regular music or mainstream music. You were doing political commentary, So where did the inspiration, that political inspiration, come from, even as a young person?
Yeah, the first day I walked into a studio to record music in Takrade ES studio, I wanted a platform to be heard. Yeah, I wanted to be here today. And I didn't know how. I couldn't be on the morning show like Kwesi Pratt or Kweku Bakun. So I wanted a platform that I could own. Yeah. So if I went to the studio and made a song, that is my platform.
Okay.
And I could say whatever I wanted to say on that track. And so the inspiration has always been there.
And you didn't really care about whether it was commercially viable or not?
No, I didn't even care. I didn't ever make music for when I made the song that you just played.
Yeah.
Okraku-Mantey gave me 500 CDs.
For Ajigon. And that's all you made from it?
Yeah, that 500. I think that I bought him a phone and he didn't like the phone. He asked me to take it back to the person. So I took it and he said I should take the money. But we didn't. It wasn't something. I was not. It wasn't for the money.
I see.
Yeah, I was enjoying being heard and having the opportunity to also air my views, a platform to vent, to talk about social and political issues. Yeah.
So as a young person, what profession then did you want to do?
That was my profession, or the one I wanted to do, or the one I was doing.
The one you wanted to do as a young person, your dream.
Growing up, I didn't have the opportunity to have a profession. My mother wanted me to be one person. My father wanted me to be one person. And we were always fighting. So me and Kasadi, I didn't want to be anybody. my mother wants me to be a doctor. My father wants me to be a whatever. So, So I actually wanted to be heard. I wanted to be, let's say, a media in the media.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a social commentator. But one thing that I'm happy, and I think that God brings us here for a purpose. Growing up, one thing that I always wanted to do, and when I look at all the projects that I've done with TPP and all the people that we have given emergency healthcare, people that we have supported to raise millions of cedis for one surgery, when I was growing up, at the age of, say, 12, 15, I went to Winneba, University of Education, and asked somebody to design a letterhead for me. And I wanted to write sponsorship letters to get support to take care of kids. So I went to the community health nurse training center or something in Winneba. And I told them that I wanted some of the nurses to accompany me to the villages to take care of kids with sores, and then we take care of kids who had malaria and all. So from that age, I just wanted to be out there and helping people. And then I grew up to find myself taking kids to Kolebu for holding heart surgeries and all. So it has always been like that.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
And you talked about how you came to Accra with the trotro. You were sleeping at Kanishi First Light.
Yes, Limbasta knows me very well. I used to sleep in his studio. So I had opportunity to do my LLB, my law degree in various universities, but I chose CAF. And I chose CAF because when I came to Accra, I was sleeping in a kiosk close to CAF. So the day Dr. Prince Ama, who is the former MP for Okraku-Mantey, told me about CAF University. I drove through Okraku-Mantey. And then when I got to the traffic light, I remembered how we used to stand on top of Slimbuster Studio and count cars. You know, those days, some of them were the big artists. So when they come, and we used to sleep in the voice room. So when they come and they have to record, we have to come and stand on the veranda and count cars. Okay, 10 from here, 5 from here. That's what you do to keep you awake. And so when I got to the Okraku-Mantey, that fuel station, is it Total?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, the Okraku-Mantey, that fuel station at the Okraku-Mantey. When I got there and I looked across the road, I remember that I used to sleep in a shop here. And CAF University is where EcoBank is. And I decided that I came here, slept in a shop here, and I'm going to study law in this same area. And that's why I chose CAF.
Wow.
Yeah, that's where TikTok used to pick me from every evening. And then we would have to walk all the way to Nana King's studio in Dansuman.
Yeah.
So being in CAF was like, it was personal, it was emotional.
Yeah.
And I go to class and I'm always sitting quietly because it means a lot to me.
It means a lot to you. Look, I wish we could have this conversation over and over again, and even we could have this conversation for like 2 more hours, but unfortunately, we run out of time, and Bile is going to take over the radio very shortly.
Who is that?
Mr. Paul Anchor, the one and only Bile.
I'm just pulling his leg.
Our very own Bile. But before we wrap up, there's just one more question I'd want to find out. What's the biggest lesson life has taught you?
We have to be truthful. We have to be honest. We have to speak our minds. But we have to be humble. Now, let me say this. Yesterday, I was at the presidential dinner. And I saw a man who has been vilified by everybody, who has gone through a lot for 8 years. And he accepts everybody. He's not angry. John Mahama is a different human being. But there's one thing that I also saw. The NDC people I knew 8 years ago, very powerful, very beautiful, very handsome. Most of them were looking very old. Koma Diomo, 8 years. Koma Diomo. I was looking at them and I was like, these guys, 8 years ago, these were the people. 8 years on, you can tell that some of them, you see, they've gone through it. And what does it tell you? Today you are here, tomorrow you are not there. Some few days ago, yesterday I was in Parliament and I was introducing the Minister of Education to somebody, and he said 2 days ago I was the Minister of Education. 2 days on, I'm just a member of Parliament. And so power is transient. We don't have to. We have to be careful how we handle power. We still have to remain humble. The kind of honor that the people of Gomoa Central have done me is not something that I'm taking for granted. And it makes me love people more. It makes me remain the same person that I am and committed to giving back to the people who put me where I am.
You're amazing.
Thank you.
Kwame Nyamishwa Ate.
Amen.
Kwame Asariobing, A+ here on Joy 99.7 FM. I'm Lexus Bill. Thank you so much for making time. And I think that there's even more that we need to talk about. I need to think of a I'm
the only Ghanaian in 2 parliaments.
Yes.
In Delish Parliament.
Delish Parliament. In fact, I just got a message from the Delish Parliament saying congratulations on behalf of the Parliament, led by Speaker Clarence and Yao Sechi. They want to congratulate you.
Dear
Thank
Clarence,
you so much.
in the next 4 years, I'll teach you how to win an election.
Let's find out what's happening in news now, and right after that, Belay takes over your radio. I'm Lexus Bill. Have a good evening.